Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. It's February 27th. We're going to look at some technical analysis, the SPY price action, Gme, Bbby, AMC even, what's going on. I shifted a lot of stuff around today, made some moves, and yeah, just stay tuned. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money sticks around. Follow us on Twitter at HappyMoneyYT, as well as our Discord server. Link for those are in the description. The SPY, we had a day this morning. I can't remember what it was. What was the day this morning? It was durable goods. Durable goods caused the market to rally pre-market. So we were up, I don't know, almost 1%, I think, pre-market. Rallied up even more and then kind of rejected up here. And I did some trades on the futures. We'll go over those. But yeah, overall downtrend still there. Not a whole lot of data left this week. There are some earnings, but this downtrend's here. I can see it going both ways in the shorter term. We've got an inverted head and shoulders here. We've also had this like island bottom, like detached. So those are both bullish. Of course, got a bullish MACD. You've got green over the 9. That's all bullish. But our longer term downtrend. Then we have these. There's actually 4 of them. No, 3 of them. 1, 2, 3 RSI divergences. So that's bearish. Yeah, so it's kind of just in this consolidation zone, and the longer term is kind of what I'll weight heavier on, so I'll think it's maybe going to keep coming down. But with those other signals to the upside, maybe it'll bounce first a bit. I don't know if it'll break these highs like 402 or not, or if it'll start filling gaps up there. That'd be a pretty significant bounce. But I did do some future trading today. I had a short that I opened up last week, little micro short, so just one, and that was of course down. I actually added to it up here. Yeah, I added 1 or 2 up here. It came down, and yeah, ended up being profitable on it. I think I closed it out here. Did I close it? Yeah, or no, wait. I closed it out. I don't know. I made money on it, closed them out, and then I actually went long. Yeah, I went long here on a double bottom. So closed it out somewhere. I think I closed it out somewhere here. And then these are the lines I had just drawn from support and resistances, extended hours as well. I actually went long here. Maybe it was a little lucky, I'm not sure, but it looked like kind of a double bottom to me. Went long on a big ES and then closed that out at VWAP. So that worked out. And then actually opened up a short, a big short ES on the futures right here on this bear flag under VWAP. And so that's worked out. So I'm still holding that. I have a stop limit on it, so I won't lose any money if it comes back up here, but I'll probably hold that overnight and just hope it keeps kind of staying below that price and we keep coming down. Yeah, because my longer term is that we're still in a bearish trend for sure, so trying to short bounces and then not get stopped out of them. But yeah, that's the trades I did on SPY today. GME, BY, AMC, all kind of interesting. So GME kind of came down with the market for the most part today, but then broke through that 1940 level, which is a big level from before that we double bottomed on over here, and that was the level from, that held up for years, that level. And so we've dropped below it here, of course, and kind of bounced off it a few times, and today might have been the 3rd bounce on it. Not sure yet if it's confirmed, but so we dropped below it with the SPY, and then I was like, okay, this is bearish. We dropped below it, so I actually got into puts for March at the money. Actually in the money, there were 19.5 puts. I'm very mature in my trading these days. No short term out of the money. IB is low enough, so I didn't do spreads, but it was safer because they were in the money and had about a month of time. Anyways, so those came down here. I was up a little bit on it, and then Gme kind of have this move up, which made sense. Back up to VWAP. It was kind of moving with SPY, of course. And then it had this little rally, which is kind of interesting. I mean, it was at the same time as SPY, so I'm like, okay, that's what the SPY makes sense. Even though it is above VWAP, it's kind of bullish. And then it came down a little bit with SPY, and there's some volume picking up here, which was kind of interesting. And then it had this move that started to happen. started to rally here. And what happened at that point? So AMC had been rallying all day today. I think this is just kind of a pre-earnings run up on AMC. But once AMC got volatile enough to the upside, it started dragging up GME. And if you're watching on stream, it was very clear that it was just a pull from AMC. So right here, 425, this candle, this move right here is when you start to get a pull on GME with it. And then the volume, as you can see, is also starting to pick up, even though this was red. And then this one, we were starting to move big. And look at that huge volume, 302,000. So let's see, 1435. That was right there on basically the biggest volume move on AMC as well. Both coordinated there, and then it got shut down with GME or AMC. So I almost actually got out of my puts there. I'm like, well, if AMC really starts to go and it keeps going, they'll drag it. But I knew if it slowed down, then GME would just get crushed back down. So that's what's happened so far, more or less. I've also been wanting to get leaps. So today I actually closed my long-term shares on GME. I know it's at a low, potentially it's going to go lower, but the IV is so low on the options. I don't need to hold these long-term shares and just think that, you know, whatever. I have to hold these for any reason to get long-term cap gains on some squeeze. Like if squeeze happens, great. If I have shares, I'll get short-term cap gains on it if it's in the year. Not a big deal. Close them out and give myself capital. And basically the options are low enough that I do want upside exposure for sure. And so I was planning on getting some leaps, scaling into them, especially if we get kind of back down to this double bottom. And if we do that, then looks much more like we're repeating the same time last year coming into March earnings. And if we get a lower bottom and then this RSI divergence, I will be loading up much heavier. But anyways, today with it starting to move the AMC, I actually already started to get leaps. So I got 20 strike for January. Not quite leaped because it's February now, but it's almost a year. Got 2 of them, and then yeah, I plan to get more, especially if GME comes down. If we get a double bottom here or a lower low and then a higher low on the RSI and get that divergence, then I will be going pretty heavy, anticipating a run after earnings, just like it happened last year, which would be crazy. So with some of those leaps, I'm probably going to sell cover calls on, do a poor man cover call, and then other ones I'll probably just sell them outright if we get a big rally. And yeah, that's kind of how I plan to play it. However, today is looking like we might not go down there. It's too early for me to tell, but we've started I'm going already. We started to show some support and some relative strength. So if we look at this, just in the last few minutes since 1450, Buy's been coming down here, breaking new lows, and GME's actually been showing relative strength and moving up. So that is the first good sign I saw that actually made me close my puts. The both puts I got this morning, I closed out of it. It still could come down, but I had less confidence that it's coming down. With the relative strength it showed, AMC moving a lot, and it pulling GME, that might be a little precursor. And then these volume. So this volume spike was from AMC, all this volume is from AMC. But then this one wasn't, so I'm not sure what volume is coming in, but it's looking like, you know, we've got kind of a double bottom here just on the day, and this level itself a little lower than here, but really it's about the same. So this is kind of this support. So I'm wondering if we're just getting buying pressure here, and this will actually be the low. So not sure yet, but this very well could be our low, and we're not going to get a move back down here. So that's another reason why I got more calls. Relative strength because of AMC, and then the double bottom, and then the volume. SPY's making new lows. Look, it's not really affecting GME yet. GME is up at VWAP. SPY's filling that gap here. At any rate, so yeah, all those reasons, I'm happy if it comes down here, but it's showing some signs that this might be the support. The volume today has increased quite a bit. Not quite a bit, but more than the last 4 or 5 days so far. Got about 30 minutes left to go, and a lot of it was just these few different volume spikes. So kind of interesting. AMC, yeah, AMC had a big rally today. I almost actually got some debit spreads on it. We were watching it. Was it bull flag? One of these bull flag breakouts I almost played. Yeah, it was this bull flag. I was watching it. I was like, might get debit spreads. I was actually looking at cash secured puts last week on it, but I didn't like the head and shoulders it was setting up. So this was a head and shoulders, and then today it broke out of it, which is very bullish. But yeah, so we almost got debit spreads here. I know some of you on stream know Ace. He played it with some shares. Some of the others had calls. But yeah, anyways, made a big move today. I think it was like, it's up 22%. So it's holding up well, up above VWAP. It has earnings after hours tomorrow. So maybe some continuation tomorrow on AMC. Maybe keep coming up just kind of for a pre-earnings run-up type move. I'm not sure. But if the volatility picks up to the upside, it'll probably pull GME up. And if it gets real crazy, it'll pull up BBY and maybe even Carvana. So BBBY made some more moves on here. Very interesting. So remember last Friday, I was very stoked, hyped up. I wouldn't say FOMO, but I got in the position. I was kind of waiting for signals to happen. Us breaking previous day's highs, which we were doing. Broke previous day high, broke the next day previous day high. And then it was setting up an engulfing candle and then didn't, and sold off into close. And so I was thinking, okay, it's more likely now that it'll probably fill that lower gap. So coming into today, I meant to sell some shares in pre-market, but then I realized, well, I forgot I had some shares I could sell, and we had like a 10% move up pre-market, so that would have been perfect. But I didn't sell them until down here because I'd cover calls on them. So I'll close the cover calls out and then closed out of some of the shares that I'd bought on Friday. And yeah, now here we are. It's whale teeth today, bounced up a little bit to VWAP, so it's showing signs of a floor being built. Whether that gap fill still comes or not, I am not sure, but I still have all my cash secured puts, or not all of them, actually. I did close some 1.5s, but I have most of them. I'll show you what I have. But yeah, volume's up yesterday and today now, even more volume also. So we're getting to buying pressure. I still think it probably could flush a bit and fill that gap at 130, and before we get an actual new low, or before we actually find an actual bottom. But it doesn't have to. And yeah, yesterday or Friday's price action, and more Fridays than today's, but Fridays was pretty solid buying pressure. And then today somewhat, I mean, we do kind of have this intraday bear flag actually, but not down 8%, 10, 12% like we have been for weeks. So slowing down that momentum to the downside, and maybe just one big wick down to fill it, or maybe we come down here and hang out and consolidate down at 130 down here. You know, it's possible it consolidates for a bit before it rallies. We'll just come down and just rip. So let me show you the trades I made for that. So here's the shares on Gme I closed. Feels good actually. It's I was slowly like getting liquidated out of them because of margin and closing them little by little, and with the IV being low, I'm like, I would rather just own calls, whether they're leaps or weeklies or whatever, that's low enough to where I'll just trade it that way. And then so what I'm left with is birds and Tesla. So it's good. Tesla short, of course, is going against me. Tesla has investor day 2 days from now. Yeah, on the 1st, on Wednesday. So I think it's kind of a buy the rumor thing. It's rallying right now. Investor day, maybe it'll rip off of that, or maybe it'll sell off. But it's the strength that it's shown to the market is very strong, and so I think that's just from investor day hype. So that might continue to rally until Wednesday, where after investor day, that might be a catalyst to dump it. And then on the Ameritrade, TD Ameritrade. So here's the call. So I had the puts, closed the puts for a small profit, and then here's the calls I started to get. 2 of them for January 20 calls. And then so I still have the cash secured puts on here. BBY cash secured puts 2.5 for this Friday. I've got 24 of them on there. And then on my long term, SPY's filling that gap now. Pretty big flush here. My long term, I closed the shares and the cover calls. Of course, made some money on the cover calls. Very small amount. Those would not drop in premium. It was crazy. And then lost, I don't know, a couple hundred on the shares. So now I'm just left with these 1.5 cash secured puts, which are up a little bit, 1%. That's great. I mean, it's basically right at the money. So, and then on the IRA, I just had the shares and cover calls, which I closed those also. So I'm gonna just keep theta farming it for a little bit. I'm gonna try and be patient on my entry on BBY as I go in heavier with it. try and catch a little bit more of the momentum necessarily than the dip buy would be smart, I think, as always. But while I'm doing that, I could be farming theta. And then the futures. So nat gas continues to rally. I've been looking to dip buy this thing. Should have here, I guess. This was hardly even a dip. It went from like plus 6% to like plus 4%, and that was our dip. But yeah, this nat gas continues to look good. So I've got 3 of these nat gas longs minis. So I want to just get up to like maybe 5 or more. And then right now I've got this short on the ES, which is looking nice, of course, too. It's a lot more leverage. Almost 200,000 in leverage. But the nat gas, it's kind of at this resistance. Did it break it? Oh, it did kind of. So this resistance, it was kind of building this channel back here, and I was dip buying these, and then when it broke through here, I actually closed, took a loss. So I was kind of hoping it would find resistance here and then come back down to this range. But today it looks like it's just actually breaking out of that resistance and going to keep rallying. So trying to be patient with getting more contracts. Don't want to mess up my cost basis too much. But there's definitely caps to fill to the upside, and there's even that storm going on in most of the United States. So I'm a little skeptical, a little hesitant just with that storm, if that's causing a lot of this, or if it's so cheap it's just getting pushed up because of its, buying the dip basically. But yeah, I mean, this has been the past 4 days has been a pretty significant move on it. So maybe hopefully a little bit of a pullback, since it's so overbought in the hourly. And where that pulls back to, I'm not sure, but I will be a buyer on a dip. If we get down to here, I'll be buying more contracts of it, basically. Whew, that's a lot. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We'll see you on Discord. Peace out.